Hello, my name is Alice Katz, and I have made this video because I want to tell you what it is I do to keep myself healthy, and hopefully you will try to do a lot of it. I realize you won't do it all because I do a lot, but even if you do some, it will be better, probably, than what is now. I am 85 years old. I don't take any medicine, any medication. I don't need it. I have tons of energy. I haven't had even a cold in 3 years. I attribute it all to what I do. So I want to tell you what I'm going to be talking about is health. But there are 3 components to health, which is the first 4 letters, meaning heal. And I'm going to tell you every one of these is equally important if you want to be healthy. So the first one is H. H stands for heredity. We are all a product of our heredity. However, everything I've read says that heredity plays a very small part in your immune system. It's important to know, though, your heredity background. Most of us have cancer and heart conditions that our ancestors had. They may have had other things too. We don't always know what they had. I have lived longer than both of my parents, who both died from heart conditions. But in those days, we didn't know that much about nutrition. I eat very differently than the way they did. So because I know of that, and I also know there's a lot of cancer in my background, I am very careful in the way I eat, more than most people would be, probably. So heredity is something we have no control over. What we have control over is that whatever your heredity, that is what weakens your immune system if you don't take care of the other parts, all the other components to heal, which we do have control over. So, the next one in heal is E for eating. I do a lot of things to control my eating. First is I don't eat in restaurants because I will not have as much control as when I eat home. Restaurants do not serve large enough vegetable portions as far as I'm concerned, and they never give you fresh fruit. I don't eat much sugar, as little as possible, as much as I can control it. So if I have yogurt, which I do every day, I buy the Greek yogurt, which has less sugar than any other kind, and it's thick, so not much is necessary to have at one time. And then I put fruit in it, which sweetens it. And that's fresh fruit, not canned fruit. Another thing I do, besides not eating in restaurants, I eat 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner with nothing in between. But they're full meals, and I don't need to eat in between. I don't think eating all day long is going to keep anybody healthy. I know there are some diets that say to do that. But as you can see, I'm slim, and it's because of the way I eat. So When I go shopping, I read labels. I rarely buy things that are packaged, but if I do, I look to see how much sugar and how much salt to keep it as low as possible. I buy organic when I can to keep away from the chemicals that might be in the foods that are being grown without an organic process. I buy mostly fresh items. It's not always possible to get everything organic. I just do what I can. I listen to my body, so I know when I'm full. And by this time I know approximately how much of a portion to put on the plate anyway. So what I have is I have a substantial breakfast, very low in sugar. It is cereal, but it's special cereals I get in the health food department. We don't really have health food stores here. The health food department of food store that I go to, after reading the labels, I mix several kinds of cereals together. I don't have any kind of milk in my diet except for the yogurt. So I buy something called Ripple, which is made from green peas, and it's very high in calcium, very high in protein. The protein content is so much higher than any of the almond milks or any of the other milk substitutes you will find. And it tastes good. I buy the one without the sugar in it. And then I have fruit, and I have olive oil at each meal. I eat my main meal for lunch, and all my meals consist of, as much as possible, a vegetable, a fruit, grains, the olive oil. I don't eat anything that begins with the letter C except for fruits and vegetables, which means I don't have cheese, cake, cookies, crackers, coffee. A lot of bad things begin with the letter C for some reason. And of course, I don't smoke, so I don't have cigarettes, which is another C. Or drugs, which could be cocaine. I don't put toxins into my body. I use filtered water that gets out fluoride because I've read that fluoride's really bad for you. Most of the things I do, I've read about, and then I listen to my body. I'm not a nutritionist, but I know a lot about nutrition from reading over the years, which I find very important to do. Our bodies are very, very necessary to work well, and what you eat affects your immune system as much as the other things I'm going to tell you about. But to me, health is a priority, and you won't do any of these things unless you think health is a priority. And it should be, because if you don't have health, you can't function. When you have your health, you can do anything. I'm never tired. I have a lot of energy. And I can do pretty much everything I could do when I was younger. I'm also very strong because my body is functioning well. Old age is somewhat of a myth. There are people much younger than me who can't function as well as I do. Of course, I'm not going to live forever. Nobody does. I'm not going to stay in perfect health forever. But I'm doing what I can to make it as long as possible because I enjoy life. So to go back to the eating, I've told you a lot of things. I try to include all food groups and of as much variety. There are many, many kinds of vegetables and kinds of fruit. Sometimes those things I have limited access to, but I do what I can. So the next one is A for attitude. Attitude is almost as important as what you eat. I have a very positive attitude. I give myself messages that keep me in a happy, upbeat state, which is also very necessary for the immune system. So my life is not necessarily better than other people's. It's not necessarily without stress. But when things happen that I don't like, I tell myself it could be worse. And it really always can, no matter what, except for when we're dead. As long as we're alive, no matter what the situation is, it could always be worse. And I know that's not easy to reckon with, but think about it. So that's one thing I do. When I think positive thoughts about things, and I try not to think too negatively. Even though I'm a very accepting person, I don't expect things to go perfectly. I am forgiving if things happen that I don't like, if people do things I don't like. I don't have a lot of anger. I have a lot of opinions, don't get me wrong, but I don't have a lot of grudges against anybody or resentment. I just live my life in the here and now, which is extremely important to do. We have no control over the past, it's gone, and we have no control over the future. We don't know what it will be. So all we can deal with is now. So again, attitude, very important and affects the immune system. The last one is L for lifestyle. I live a life with a lot of pleasure, which is always, whatever pleasure you get, it's unique to you. My pleasure comes from a lot of things. I love looking at the trees outside. I live purposely in an area where there are woods in the back and a body of water, because that gives me pleasure. I go and sit outside as much as possible on my deck. My lifestyle includes exercise. When I was able to, when it was open, I was going to 4 exercise classes at the senior center here. Now that's not possible, so I go for a walk every day in my neighborhood, every morning, early. My lifestyle as an artist includes looking at art and creating art. But I can get pleasure out of cleaning out a closet, rearranging something in a drawer or somewhere else in the house, even moving my paintings around in different places in the house gives me pleasure. And I feel good about it. I also make sure to go early to any appointment, to leave early so that I can get there on time, because when we drive somewhere there's always unexpected traffic. I mean, I try to do things in a way that will reduce stress. If you leave late, you're going to be very stressed out, and that certainly is not good for your immune system and therefore your health. So these are just some of the things I do. If you want to know more and you want help with yourself, contact me. Check out my website, happylivingservices.com, and there you will find contact information, and you are very welcome to call me and we could set something up for an appointment. I have been in practice for 41 years. I have written 2 books on eating and 1 book on anger management. You'll find them on Amazon, and I also have copies of the anger book myself. I have run workshops over the years on both topics. I have spoken on radio and television. I wish you a lot of success. I hope you will do some of these things so that you will be a healthy person. I don't care what age you are. And I hope this has been helpful.